This show is important because my colleagues throughout the campus can see what I've been up to, what this department as a whole has been up to.
I think it gives the students a chance to see what the professors are doing, so we don't actually just teach it. It gives us a chance to show the students how we handle our practice.
I think my work represents a sort of a private world, a world of dreams and fantasies and nightmares, a world of contemplation, a world of possibilities. It also represents my connection to nature, the natural world, things that grow, trees, unexpected sort of discoveries one can make if one looks very carefully and closely. Also, it represents, I guess, my whimsical side, my humorous side, things that seem perhaps bizarre or amusing.
The most recent work in this body of work are from paintings or from photographs of streams where my husband and I have been fly fishing. So they're in North Carolina and Virginia mostly. And I became fascinated by the patterns of the water and the way you could see through the water to the rocks, the way the water moves. There's a very famous drawing by Leonardo da Vinci that has a pattern of water that I've always loved, and that was an inspiration for these.
My work, to me, is really therapeutic. I lost my best friend in 2007 to gun violence, and I pretty much make my work for that purpose. It was actually hard for me to talk about the situation, so I found this a way to do it. And I thought, if I could put it on the wall, people would start to ask me questions about me being in ski masks and bandanas and so forth.
The process of making these pieces, photographs, is much more important to me than the actual photographs themselves. They have always been a way to be in a place that is different from, I think, what the culture encourages.
The object that I'm showing is this kind of collage of old, obsolete, not so hip anymore technology for viewing videos, and I pieced it all together from scraps that I had, and it's showing, of course, a reel of videos that relates to my project, my performative project called Invisible. A show like this is not thematic, other than that we're all teaching at the same place. But one of the cool themes is that there's a lot of variety in this room, and that's really important to me. We're a small department, so it's probably not good if two people are doing really similar things, and I think we really aren't. There's a lot of varieties.
I don't think there's a strict correlation. I should say we work independently in the studio, but I do think that we sort of cross-pollinate one another creatively, and I think it's exciting.
This painting that I call Jack in the Pulpit Sunny Woods is a kind of combination of several of the kinds of things that I've been doing for a long time. One is to try and focus on a particular flower, and I love wildflowers, and this is one of my favorites. The other thing that I was really focusing on were the different ways of making the painting. So the foreground is very loose and like a soft focus in a photograph where it's not very detailed, but the flower itself is very detailed and very realistic. And then I got really interested in the light, and so I got sort of fascinated with using the technical materials that I really like to play with.
So materials are really important to me, the particular attributes of the materials, how they carve, how they cut, how they sand, how they polish, how they're stained, what their coloration is. All that stuff is pretty important to me and informs, what I do with the materials. I like to let the materials speak for themselves.
As I said earlier, I'm a little obsessed with surfing. I started when I was 40 years old, after wanting to surf my whole life. And now I think I have found the challenge of a lifetime. I think I will never stop. If I can't stand, I will ride on my belly. And these are both attempts to kind of get at that spiritual significance that I find in that kind of practice. Being the shorthand that I like to use is feeling like an animal on a planet. Right down the river from that are the images that surround it. There's a sand pattern left by low tide, and that's also a pretty difficult thing to catch because of the bright sun. And that worked out okay, and that's the sort of thing that left to just my own meditative devices and not thinking about the way these things function in community. That's the sort of thing that I'm drawn to photograph, abstract patterns left by water.
So this tree creature is carved out of a small cedar tree that was harvested off the Guilford campus here. It's a red cedar. It smells delicious when you carve on it. It has wonderful carving properties, beautiful red color when it's freshly carved. This particular tree at the base had all kinds of gnarly stuff going on, which I looked at and studied and fashioned into this pompadour hairdo. Bees have bored into this ear hole. It's cracked. I accept all that kind of stuff. There are worms that have eaten the outer layer of the wood underneath the bark. I just feel like, hey, I've got a collaboration going on with these natural creatures.
Whether it's people doing research in sociology or Mark Dixon rehabilitating forgotten appliances, I think that there is a sort of a shared sense of purpose and appreciation for what all of us make here that makes it very different than an exhibition at the Natural Science Museum or the Durham Art Guild or some of the other places that I've shown.